Well, I guess we'll go ahead and just get started because we have the honor of having these three amazing #boss ladies here with us today. And when I was putting together the idea for one of our professional women's group, I network a lot and I know the importance of it, but I also realize that sometimes we are intimidated by other women. I kind of wrote a little something and I'm just going to throw this out because a lot of times we feel that females bring drama. Have you ever thought about that? And be it at the workplace or social, or sometimes we look at each other as backstabbers. So really we want to take a look at how successful women, these beautiful, successful women, overcome the barriers to create a circle of professional women, and hence the power of the pack. So on our panel today, we have the lovely Stephanie Burks. Just going to do a little quick bio on her. She serves as co-founder and VP of RYCARS Construction. Stephanie has been a part of acquiring and executing over $130 million in commercial roofing and construction projects with over 85 different customers in a variety of facilities. Stephanie is a philanthropist. She has contributed over $350,000 in the forms of scholarships, donations, and such. She is amazing. I like to think we're friends, and she's also a new member of Dress for Success board, and we're so honored and happy to have her as part of our board. Raiza Pitre is Pete, right?
Pete. Well, yeah, that's like the Cajun way. Yeah, way to say.
Yes. I know some of those Cajun names very well. She is an agent channel manager for Cox Business. She began her career at Cox in 2007. In her current role, she supports channel sales efforts organization wide. She creates and delivers opportunities with business impact through external selling agent relationships through South Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. This is a powerhouse we have here. She's passionate about volunteering, both in the office and in her community, sharing the Cox intention of bringing us closer. And I love that because I think that brings us what we're talking about today. So she has a whole list of things here. She's very active on the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and just excited to have her. Rebecca, I'm going to say she's a new friend that I met last year at a New Orleans Chamber event, and we sat at the same table, and she just seems to never meet a stranger. Which I love. And so that's why I thought she was so appropriate for this particular panel, because she just, at that moment, just pulled me in. I can be a little introverted, a little shy, unless I'm at a podium talking. And so she just pulled me in and we had great conversation. She is a partnering, practicing employment and educational law at a large regional law firm. She's an avid litigator, counselor representing various clients, including business schools and universities. She has a lot of passion points as well, making personal connections, including mentoring females and minority law students and young lawyers. So just super excited. And we serve on the New Orleans Chamber Board together. So excited. And I just have to give these ladies that. You missed an important introduction to these beautiful ladies, but with that, we're just going to get the conversation going. So I share with you guys a list of questions. And Richard, yeah, please just feel free to serve yourself. So the point of this conversation is, how do successful women overcome the barriers and create a circle of professional women that you can feel you can rely on and turn to in business, personal, or whatever. So I'm going to just start with this first question. How do you empower yourself and the women around you? And I'll start with Rebecca. Yeah.
That's a great question. There's a lot to it. So I'm not gonna like take up all the time. I have a tendency of like when, you know, we're in a group, people ask like who wants to talk, I'm like. So if we're talking about empowering and empowering other fellow women, that is literally sort of my value point, what keeps me in the practice of law. Law historically is not a very inclusive place. In fact, I was just part of I think it was like International Women's Day, in which we had a panel of 4 amazing female partners from my firm. That women were not allowed to wear pants until 1996. I was shocked at that because it was considered that women had to wear dresses or skirts for it to be appropriate. This is the 90s. Just to give you a sense, right? And in terms of female representation in a law firm environment, it's not great. Our firm is probably one of the best, Phelps Dunbar. We have 29 female partners. When I heard that, I was like, that, but then I thought about out of like 100 partners in total. That's really startling, especially since when it comes to like looking at the pipeline, looking at how many female law students there are, they have a number of male faculty. Something is preventing us from elevating and progressing, and it's gotten better. It's not there, but in terms of, you know, I make it my life mission and career mission, practice law, be an advocate, you know, be good at what I do, but also to be the example, to show people it is possible. And I come from a family of immigrants. English was not a first language for me. I come from, no one was an attorney. I had no idea what, you know, lawyers did until, you know, I guess I became a lawyer. And, you know, for me, it's to be that person to see like, well, Rebecca made against all odds, right? And to also promote better interests for females in the workplace, including maternity leave, right? And challenging these like ideas of what it means to be in, you know, a conservative corporate environment, challenging it and wanting it to be more inclusive. So that is very broad strokes.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And it's interesting that you said that women weren't allowed to wear pants until 1976. 96. It registered at 76, but it's like 96. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah. So what has been your experience to empower and?
So I have 2 daughters, and you know, like that is my my motivation. I empower them every day. And I was a young mom. I had my daughter, my first daughter, when I was 18. And she, you know, she made me make sure that I was the best person that I could be for her, because I wanted to give her the best example that I could. And so I empower my girls and every woman that's a friend, you know, they can do anything. The sky's the limit. There's no limit to what they can do. And also it's important to me for other women to see someone like me, just like you were saying, I'm Hispanic, minority, immigrant, that's making it. And you know, maybe we won't see the results in my generation, but my kids will. And I'm in technology as well, and it's mostly men. It's mostly men in technology. So if there's a women's group to join, I join the women's group, and it's a great way to meet other women and to also empower yourself.
So I think your question had 2 parts. How do you empower women? How do you empower yourself?
Correct.
Okay, so how do I empower myself? I empower myself every morning when I wake up. I have daily affirmations on when I'm brushing my teeth, on my mirror. So if you just write, and this is going into spilling over, segue to empower another person, to give yourself those daily affirmations, whether you see it, feel it or not, it opens up a doorway for you to go in and go out throughout the day to make you feel better, regardless of how you're feeling at the present moment. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I have the best company. If you don't even have a company, but you're wishing and hoping and you can see it in the future, you write it and believe it. And that's how I go about doing that, as well as spilling over to encourage women day to day, because we need so much encouragement. I too, like you, my daughter, we were 18, I was 19 when my husband and I had our first daughter. He went on to Tulane, I went to UNO. We know how that was difficult because I had the baby, he was on campus. So it was difficult, but we overcame that. Since then, now my daughter went to Syracuse University, graduated, went to Georgetown, but it's the commitment that you have for as your past life and what you want for your future life. So I think to empower each woman, and for a woman to feel empowered, you have to believe that you can be empowered each day before you even step outside of your home. So just write those daily affirmations, believe them, and believe yourself that it can be done. And we're open, so anybody else want to say anything? Anybody else questions?
I mean,
Tracy went to answer those.
Yeah, I agree with that. When you said, like, so firmly believe it.
Hey, well,
Believe, receive.
Yes,
You know, if you say it,
yes.
it'll
Ask,
happen.
believe,
Ask, believe, and receive.
right, that is
Yeah.
so important, because I can tell you so many things in the past for his empowerment, and believing in yourself and writing down things. So many things you write down and that I've written down in the past, and I can look back now and see them come to pass. Yes, I'm not gonna go into a whole lot more because she has some more questions.
And listen, if anybody have comments or want to chime in or ask something, please just feel free to do so. Because I just kind of prepared a few topics to get the brain rolling a little bit. But here's one of the questions I'd like to know in all that you're saying. So can women form genuine relationships, specifically in the workplace? Or if you're starting a business, I'll start with Stephanie.
Start with me, and I'll be brief. Yes, women can have a genuine relationship in the workplace, but you have to know the balance between the workplace, your home place, and your friendship circle place. It's different ways you have to balance your relationships, your conversations as well. You don't want to go into the office telling everyone what's going on in your lifestyle, but you do want to embrace the office as those around you, and get feedback from people. Be open to people. Say good morning. It's different. It's different levels. I own my own business, my husband and I have employees that's been with me in my office 15 years or more. We've been in business 21 years now. So I don't have anyone that's brand new. So what does that mean? I don't have turnover. So the people that's been with me believe in us and they appreciate us because why we so back in and appreciate the staff that's there. And they are like our family, because you're at your workplace or with someone else at least 9 to 10 hours a day, because ours is 10 hours. You work 4 10s. So you have to trust that person, believe in that person, and have conversation. You don't have to, again, you don't have to tell everything that's going on in your life, but do learn and don't always sit back and stay where you are. Always know that there's a reach of growth in the area that you're in or outside of the area which you're in, and push yourself to go further. I can say a lot.
So I was gonna ask how y'all gonna do it. How many business you have?
We are construction, and we do roof replacements. We are in 4 different states. Here's where we started in Louisiana. We have one in Austin, Texas. But our second one, we're back up. Second was Atlanta, Georgia for 19 years. And our most recent office that we've opened is in Tampa. So we work in 12 different states, but we are licensed and have solidified offices in 4. And over 52 employees, not even counting our subcontractors. But I do like this because I've been in the room, like she said, the only woman, because it's roofing is a world of men. There's very few women that know. Yeah. And when I stepped in, it was like, are you the secretary? No, I'm not. But you can believe I am. But however,
I'm your boss.
yeah.
But however, it's just engaging, you know, and as the women that came into my company after we started growing, of course, as you see, we started it, so we were in the house, but before I started hiring someone years later, it was to encourage that person, because you have to know from the person that you're sitting next to that you can trust them with the work that you're doing right there in that place before you can go into any other area of your life of discussion.
Thanks for sharing that. I also have a comment. My comment may be a little different when it comes to women in these workplaces, right? I work in the field of transportation. I haven't been there very long. And I find that women, if you are not whole, you don't know how to open up and communicate with other people. Everything is mess, drama. Across the board, it has been so much drama and mess on this job I'm on now. And the one prior to, which was RYCARS. I work as a driver for paratransit. I find that a lot of women, and particularly us, of course, it's across the board, but I'm focusing on where I work at. We tend to be very petty, very jealous, very intimidating. So when this individual come who know who they in the most high power, which is sure how much she at, it makes a difference. They have clicks, and I'm not good with clicks at all. I'm my own click. I ain't clicking up with nobody, right? So it's a lot of mess, a lot of drama, back and forth, a lot of shoot. The job I'm on, I've only been there for like a year and a few minutes, right? So I'm more or less like the outcast. I would talk to anybody, but I don't get into that foolery.
So how do you
Control that, like when somebody's coming at you with foolishness. And, you know, I think that would be a good
Yeah.
way to.
I mean, first of all, I think there's a culture, the culture in the workplace is like completely off. And I think that needs to go, you know, management needs to take care of that because that makes a difference. It doesn't make for happy employees or anything like that. You know, I find that you can always find common ground with someone.
Yeah.
With anyone, you can always find common ground. So you may not, you know, get personal with that person, like Stephanie was saying, like you're not gonna tell them all your business, but you can find some things in common and talk about that at work, and that helps to start building relationships.
And I think I have a common ground with a lot of the individuals. I don't get personal with any of them. But it's like people say in church, when I was in church, if the top is raggedy, everything's right. And that's how it is on these jobs. The transportation is constantly, it's like a revolving door. People come, people go, people come, people go. But then you have leadership. Who feels about who they are, or what they're supposed to be. That's a problem.
But excuse me, my name is Beatrice and Rowan, and I agree with what you're saying. I was a paralegal for 23 years at a marine company. I worked with 750 men. I had the pleasure of working with Nan Alexander and George Gilly, which I think they were great. They were the best attorneys I ever worked with. And I find the women were very, very catty. You know, it was better to work with the guys and the girls. I mean, if you gain weight, oh, look at her. I mean, the guys didn't care. I mean, it is. I have to agree with you. I'd rather, and you know, not nothing against women.
Right.
It's not, you know.
That's why we're trying That's why we're having an open night. Women need to, I mean, that's why we're here. I say to stop just being in competition with each other. Each one of us possess a certain gift, talent, leadership, and we have to be we have to realize that and be comfortable where we are. If you don't know if you don't know, you can't go up. You have to stay here till you know more. You can't be jealous that someone else exceeded you when you didn't prepare yourself, stay late, and put in more work that was required in order to go further. Now, if you did, and if it's a problem, then you elevate it up to the next superior in your office, you know, write the email, send it out. But I understand to get past the pettiness and all the talk, You just have to close your mouth and do what you have to do in front of you to stay where you are. And if it doesn't work that way, again, elevate your question, elevate your situation to your next superior. And if it's that one, go up further and make sure everyone's copied. So there it is, it's out and everyone can be accountable.
That's right. That's right. I think it was a good question back. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, you kind of answered it. It was
Okay.
basically just what are some ways to help deflect from that? So like even just well-meaning coworkers who want to like discuss maybe personal topics or even topics that's related to work, but kind of like veer off being like very, professional. What are some, what are some things I could say to like get back on course? What
Yeah, so, I'll just address it from a legal perspective. When I'm hearing this, I absolutely agree about the failure in management to control the culture. That people should not be getting into all this personal stuff, all the pettiness. And one of the questions I would ask, first of all, would be, is the person who's causing the drama, are they in a position over me to dictate my pay, all of that? If no, okay, then I would elevate it, right? To someone who has control over those things. If yes, I would go elevate it that, because that's really problematic when people making decisions about your pay, your promotion, et cetera, are the one that's promoting all this cattiness, et cetera. Right? So, but I think that some people are just way too, once again, there's no barrier, right? It's definitely like you say, you need to maintain a good barrier between your work life and your personal life. And you cannot be bringing your personal business to work and getting therapy at work or whatever. Right? So, I mean, and in terms of like what you can say to your coworkers, assuming these are your coworkers, you can just say, hey, I'm not really comfortable sharing that with you. I'm sorry, just be honest. Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate. Please don't ask me again.
I work in a federal building and I mean, we talk about personal stuff all the time. But there's a time and place though, like we have customer service that we have to do. So we don't address any of those personal things around our customers. We're comfortable with each other. But at the same time, you might have your off day and I only have one coworker really. I have one that she got hired, but she found another job. So she's only with us for like 3 more days. So I don't really count that one. So I got one coworker and there are some days that she just does not want to work. And she calls me nonstop and she'll just be like, no. I said, all right, I'm not dealing with you today and all this nonsense. I hope you have a great day. And I hang up the phone on her. And she gets the clue because she does not bother me no more the rest of the day unless she comes to my office being professional because she needs something done. But we're also at this place that we both been at, like I've been at a job almost 4 years. She's been about 3.5, going close to 4. And so we both know our job really well. It's not that we can't do it. She just doesn't want to do it. And she knows I'm not going to deal with the nonsense. So I think you also set that boundary to be like, I'll listen to you sometimes, but today ain't the day. And I literally will be so professional and I'm like, all right, this sounds awesome. You know what you need to do. I'm not doing your job for you. I hope you have a great day. And I literally, I'm like, I'm gonna hang up the phone now. And I hang up the phone on her. And that's like 8 in.the morning.
Oh,
She's like, we won't talk again that
That's
day.
just getting on the job.
Yeah.
As soon as I walk in the morning.
So I have coworkers that like to come and chit chat all, like they don't have anything to do. And so one of the things that I do is I'll like text another coworker, like, can you call my phone? And then the one. And then they're really sorry, Kurt, that I told them I can't talk to you.
My supervisor doesn't allow
Yeah.
that. So for my job, like you're not allowed to walk in each other's office because how it looks to the other people, that it looks like we're not doing anything, whether you're getting help or not, like. So we have to stay in our office, of course, we can't use personal cell phones, everything always has to look professional, because we have a glass that people come and see us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of feel like a cage rat. I understand why he does what he does, but then he takes it to the extreme, I feel. And he's been out for a few weeks. So we're kind of like self-sufficient, but like I said, it's only 2 of us. We were a job, we had like 7 people in this position at one point, and now it's just 2 of us doing all the hard work. So I mean, we know our job, so we still get it done. But
Yeah.
I find like you set those boundaries though, you won't have like such an issue.
That's.
That's a really good lesson.
Mhm.
Offer, I guess, maybe a different narrative, at least for me, at least in my current work environment. One of the reasons I was at a different firm for about the first 5 years of my career, and I liked it. But it wasn't where I envisioned myself in the future. And when I made that decision to transition to another firm, I was really actually looking for an environment that had more female attributes, to be, you know, and more minority. Because I knew that, at least within the law, potentially there could be more allies, potentially there could be more empathy about what I'm going through, right? And I found that in my current firm. I chose it because, first of all, I do employment law, so this is what I do. It's a field that really does actually attract a lot of women. We're interfacing with HR professionals, et cetera. And I chose, you know, the practice group, it's half women, half men. In fact, now it might be more. And, you know, half minority, half non-minority, right? Which is saying a whole lot for a big firm in the New Orleans environment. But I have, at least my current role, really viewed my female colleagues as like allies that actually help me, promote me, you know, throughout my career. You know, in law, you have to have sponsorship, you have to have mentorship, and a lot of it is just freaking chance, right? Luck. And, you know, my sponsor, my mentor, she's amazing. She is hashtag boss lady. She's really bad. She's top 10 litigator in the state, probably one of the first African-American female, you know, partners in this gigantic firm. She's just fantastic in every sense of the word. However, I know that the culture involved has not always been like this. It really used to be that it was like a dog eat dog world when it came to female, because and part I think it was the system, right? The system that's very male dominated created this mindset of scarcity. There's going to be one. If we're going to pick one female, it's going to be you. There are going to be no more. We did it, like, good job, right? So I know that just even 20 years ago, it was very different. And there are still, I think, attorneys where it's the notion, you know, I see it, not my firm, I won't say any specific names, but like I see female attorneys where, you know, they have the mindset of, I'm going to be like a man, that's not going to succeed. I'm not going to make allies. I'm not going to, in fact, I'm going to treat females even more harshly. And that is just so against like my values, my principles, you know, the people I look up to. But it's a product of the system in which they, you know, were promoted. That's what they have to
I'm
do.
curious if either of you have, she mentioned mentors.
That's exactly what I was raising my finger for. Cause she mentioned, and it transcends over, cause she mentioned in her law firm, she has a mentor and also a sponsor. In life, find you a mentor or a sponsor, someone that can feed and pour into you. Not that they're gonna give you exactly what you want to hear, because otherwise they wouldn't be a mentor or a sponsor. I have many that I mentor, and I don't give them what they want to hear. I don't, because if I'm giving you what you want to hear, you never grow.
Right.
And your reasoning and contacting someone is so that you can be a better person than you are today for tomorrow. So the person that you share something with or give something to, you're not looking for them to give you the, okay, data girl, go ahead, rule the world. No, you want to dig down deep and have someone to really pour into you some of those things you don't want to hear, because you have to set reality in order to be able to grow further.
We do have a couple questions online, give them a chance to chime in.
Gabrielle asks, how do you deal with celebrating other women's successes without putting yourself down?
Celebrating
Do it.
other women's successes.
I'm happy for anybody. I'm happy. You elevate, you elevate, you elevate. I'm happy for you. Without putting you down, that's the only way you're gonna be able to grow, in order for you to be happy for someone else.
And there's that, you know, that saying, it's one of my favorite, that a candle doesn't lose anything by lighting another candle.
And there's enough room for everyone.
I
And
love
that's
that
right.
phrase,
And so
yeah.
you don't lose anything. I think it makes you a
Empowered.
better person, and you're more empowered
Yeah.
when you're celebrating other women.
I would just say this, it's hard to control other people, what other people say, what they do, but what you can control is how you feel. And to not push away this feeling of why do I feel inadequate because of, the success of a woman. What does it mean? Why am I feeling this way? Am I fearful that, I'm not gonna measure up? Am I fearful because, my mom's gonna criticize me, etc. Right? Don't push away the feeling, but you can control that. And you can anticipate, why am I feeling this insecurity, the fear? And I can anticipate if it comes up again.
Right, recognize it, I like that, recognize the fear that, the feeling that you're feeling that you feel different because someone else is elevated, that should not be.
Yeah.
Is there another question, Lori?
Yolanda asks, how do you wear so many hats in one day?
I wore about 5 before I got here. Yeah, I wore about 5 because I'm on several boards. I did a commercial for WYES. I went to go meet my husband, talk about business. We actually had lunch here at Houston's. Went back to my condo, did a Zoom, came back here and I'm here. Tomorrow I have 5 other things going on, but you have to balance life. It's not my everyday, I'm not running. But when I look at my calendar, you have to be able to put those those times on your schedule, be able to manage life as well as have those moments for you. Even I think I told Tracy, or I think it was you, 2 of you I was speaking of before I got here. I took a 15-minute nap. I needed just those 15 minutes to keep going. But you have to take a little time for yourself, even if you're just sitting, meditating. I took 2, but I took.
Now she's 8 months pregnant.
7. Breaks. And let me tell you, I put my alarm 15 minutes, I put my head down, I got it.
Yeah,
In like 1 minute.
And if you need more, you're entitled to ask for more. I just want you to know, as a matter of law, if you need more.
I didn't know that.
That was my.
Any, how do you juggle all the hats that you wear?
I just, some weeks that are super busy, I travel a lot for work. I just kind of like Stephanie said, make sure everything's on my calendar. And I just, on Sunday night, I'm like, okay, get ready. Like, and it's very fulfilling, for me to be busy and, to be a mom and to be busy at work and to volunteer. That fulfills me and makes me happy. So I enjoy it. But it is a lot.
It's a lot, but at the end of the day, I said I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. I'm also a mother. I have a 3-year-old, which is a tough phase. And I love him to death. He's really cute, but he drives me crazy sometimes. And I have a husband who, as a second career, decided to go to med school. So he's in residency right now, which is
hard. Yeah.
a week.
Wow.
I don't see him really. And I'm working crazy.
Yeah.
But so the answer is, it's really hard. Right, and sometimes I don't necessarily succeed at it. Sometimes, most of the time, I'm struggling. There's a lot of sacrifice of sleep. And I'm constantly trying to find whatever the balance is. There's no balance. I think whatever makes me feel like this is feasible. But I make sure I prioritize myself. I do what energizes me.
Right.
Doing things like this, I'm like extreme extrovert, as you can tell. But like at my lowest, I'm just so depleted. I'm just so burnt out. Instead of like, what I should do, which is curl up in a ball and take a nap, I go out with my friends.
But I think that's, recharge, the way to balance if you just are working all the time and juggling that all the time, then, it could send you maybe in a downward spiral, perhaps,
Yeah.
And
So I don't really understand when people not to be ugly or anything to the lady that made the comment earlier, but like, how could you be jealous of somebody? I don't see that. I don't understand the concept of it. Like, if my neighbors have something, I don't feel the need to have it. Like, my theory is when I see some people get some of this brand new stuff, I'm like, they just got themselves in more debt because I'm sure they didn't pay cash for that. I do not want to be keeping up with debt. My life goal is to be debt free. So if you're debt free, then I want to be friends with you. How do we get that done? How can we make that happen? So like one of my coworkers, she got the dream job. She got paid, she's 2 steps higher, she's working out of Atlanta. So she gets their COLA for their place, but she lives here in New Orleans, works at home every single day. The only thing that I envy for her is when I FaceTime her every once in a while at work, she's sitting on a sofa with a blanket on her. And I'm like, you know, I'm so excited for you because I really are genuinely am happy that she got that job. I would love to do something similar to that, especially because I want to breastfeed this child like I've done my other one. And I did not work for my other children. I was stay-home mom at that time. And I don't think that I will be this time. Because when you have 5 children, you kind of can't really stay home anymore. So.
You're busy. You're busy. How do you do that? Right.
I have a cell phone at work that literally my whole life is there, and my supervisor even told me one time, he was like, you can't take pictures of that, that's government stuff. I'm like, this is my life on here. He's like, well, if you were to go get another job, like, I was like, well, I don't, anybody would want to know my schedule is for April, but they're more than welcome to assist me. I mean, I got this meeting, like, this is my page. I'm gonna take this page with me.
Yeah.
But I just don't, I don't understand, like, how you want, I don't know, I don't have that, I don't know, am I supposed
I
to
think
feel it a
it's
little
kind
bit
of
different?
human nature to maybe feel a little something when, you know, if it's a friend or a coworker, or you feel you've been, you know, like looked over on something, but I think to have that emotion is not unusual, but I think it's what you do with it.
What you do with it, and as we spoke, why are you feeling that way?
Mhm.
You have to ask yourself that. Tap into the feeling that you're having and figure out, why are you feeling that way? Okay, are you feeling that way because you're working in the same building and you felt that you put in more than she did, or you're working on the same team and she elevated and you didn't? You're trying to figure out what's going on. And if you were, I would go and speak to the supervisor. What is it more that I can do in order to elevate and get in a different division of the company, or, you know, some other side of the company? If you're in accounting and you want to get in project management, I'm just going by what I do. But you know, what is it that I can do to cross over? You know, even I have a couple of ladies in my office. They said, Stephanie, I want to go to a pre-bid. No problem. The next pre-bid, you can go out there, sit in the pre-bid meeting, learn a little bit, and also go on a roof with the guys so you can see what it is you're looking on paper. You know, the materials and relate to what's on the ground and what's on the paper and what has to go on the roof and how it's applied.
So would that be anger or would that be jealousy? Because that's different.
No, it's not anger. It would be like Tracy, just a tap in, because we all have feelings.
Right, all right.
We all have feelings, whether you want to address it, tap into it. And that's why I said, tap into that feeling, recognize it, accept it, figure out what it is. Why am I feeling this way? If it's a negative feeling or a hurtful feeling, and then adjust.
And I think that sometimes it's helpful, like if you're in sales, for example, and someone is doing really well and you have that, like, why are they, like, I want to do that too, you know, like, I'm gonna, like, what is she doing? Let me see what she's doing. Let me see if I can follow in some of her footsteps, because I want to be, you know,
I want that
number one.
bonus. And we get bonuses. My company's we've been giving bonuses since we started our company, because that was something my husband did receive when he was working at another engineering firm. So when we started our company, every year our employees get a bonus. Everyone doesn't get the same bonus.
Right.
Now, if you share your bonus, if you share your information of what you're getting, that's on you. And then you can be upset, and then you tap into why you think that you only got this. And then, you know, we can sit down and have that conversation, but it's already known. And we never had anybody complain.
How you determine the bonus? Seniority or?
It's not all seniority. Most of it's seniority. Most of our, as I said, we've been in business for 21 years. Our employees that are in office that has started with us for 15 years or more. Now we have laborers that are just, you know, they turn over a lot. They want a gig. I want to come, I need this. Okay, come on in. You start working, they work for a month or two after they've learned something and they're gone again. And so what we do is it goes by the job. Did this job make money, or did y'all sit on the job? Did you move the job? You know, how things come in, you know, was the company happy? Was the company that we work for happy? You know, it's a whole
it's not based on one thing. It's a whole scheme of things throughout the year. And we do various projects all throughout the year. So it's definitely, it's scaled very well.
Because, you know, years ago, when I first started working, it was, you got promoted or you got bonus. Depending, well, of course, the type of work you did, but mostly was seniority. You got promoted.
I know, we understood, we understand that.
And
But
then
we
when
do
they
things
stopped, the people,
differently.
you know,
Yeah.
but what was upsetting though, the people that were there for a long time, you started seeing these newcomers. What do they do? And they got promoted, you know, they jumped. So it was unfair.
Yeah.
To the ones that were there.
That was there.
I still want to jump in and piggyback, because I don't want you to think that you're alone, and they may not have had the same experience, but I will say this, just kind of culturally, how, people are like in a certain atmosphere and they may react to certain different situations in the same way. And I say this because even at the playground, I was watching my son play and there were a group of teens behind me. And they were talking about a teenager who was playing. She's too big, she's too old, she shouldn't be playing. And in my mind, I was like, the young lady looked like she was having a great time. And y'all were being too adult to go play and have a good time, but they were. So sometimes people just mimic what they've already seen or heard. Or maybe even they think like, hey, this is a bonding thing for us because we can get together. So you're not alone, but in those moments, what I do, because I've been on the receiving end, is you do gravitate towards the person or people who are not a part of that type of culture. And you literally have to sometimes just ignore it and move on. It's not worth addressing. You know it's happening because they're doing it very publicly. Right. But you're not alone in having that, you know, atmosphere. Sometimes that's the atmosphere you work in, unfortunately.
Well, I'm gonna go back to some of these questions I have here, and I think we've kind of, actually, the conversation has touched on many of these, so we may repeat a little bit here, but this question pops out to me at the moment. How can women stand in solidarity with each other? All right.
Yeah, I think applauding each other's successes and, you know, if someone does something great, make sure you tell them, good job, or share, you know, on LinkedIn, like if a coworker or another female has like a great accomplishment, like reshare it. And just for me, I love surrounding myself with powerful women because they inspire me, and mentoring as well. When you have someone that's guiding, you have a mentor, and then I mentor other people. And then something that you mentioned, a sponsor is someone that's talking about you when you're not in the room. And that's so important. That is so important, that when you're not there, that somebody's like, oh, did you see what they, you know, like, so,
Well, thanks for defining what the sponsor role is, because I think
Sponsor's a
I was
pusher.
clear on that.
Yeah.
She pushes who you are.
that's right, when you're not in the room.
I always call them a cheerleader, but.
That too, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
My coworker that got promoted, she gives us, when she gets them job announcements, she passes them to us so we can apply for them as well.
Okay.
I think that's important.
Right, to not feel left
She
over.
wants us to succeed. She ain't even with us anymore. Now she belongs to, you know, another state, but she's still like, I know how hard of a worker you guys are. I want y'all to have the same opportunity that I have. So every time she gets something come across her desk, she sends it to us.
Did you have something you wanted to share?
Oh, I was just saying, y'all was talking about the mentor. I'd say my whole family's a mentor. I have been the mentor since I was like 12. I've had just about any kind of job you can name, carpentry, electrical, plumbing.
You don't even need a man.
I tell you, I was the first female MR2 throughout the state of Louisiana. I have a big certificate from L'Oreal for outstanding work. I don't know, I just never let anything stop me. I was a big tomboy, My brothers used to work on cars. I was out there working on cars too. And, actually, I could work on my own car. So, and I had one of my friends tell me, oh, you gotta do a lot. I'm kind of like a female of all trades.
Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful.
I'll jack my car and get up on my car. I'll be like, yeah, I have more tools than the average man. So, and all my tools are craftable. But I'm kind of like a woman of many talents.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I have my own business. I work at a school. Sometimes I work for the police department for UMC. I'm getting ready to start another job. Work in the stadiums on airline. So I have to keep busy.
Talk about juggling lots, huh? That's
My
a
business
short.
is something sexy by Linda. I do accessories.
Okay.
Accessories.
We've all been in situations where, or me personally, where I walk into a room and correct me if you've experienced this as well, and you're like, I don't know a soul in here. Where I just want to go I just want to go into a wall and just become invisible. Can you offer any tips on when you're in that similar situation? How do you approach someone who you've never had especially a woman, we're talking about woman to woman. I think often I can walk up to a guy and have that conversation easier. But how do you do that with a female comfortable?
Start with a compliment. How you doing?
That's a
My
great
name is.
compliment. That is really, that's what I do. Nice earrings. Exactly.
Get a whole conversation going on that.
There you go. Now, you think about what the consequence, the negative consequence might possibly be. Because I remember, I was not always this extrovert. I was quite shy as a child. I, didn't speak English, felt very, like, oh my God, do I belong, whatever. And I think that, there was a lot of fear of, oh my God, what if I approach them and they reject me? But then it's like, as I, get better and in more of these situations, so what?
You'll never see him again.
It's my time,
I would say that, I would say that, I've walked in many rooms alone, a lot, all the time.
Yeah.
And I would just look at the room, gaze the room, walk through. I'm not gonna stand on the side and disappear. I walk through, because there's someone else in that same room that's standing on the side that needs to be introduced. So you just say, hello, introduce yourself to them. You start talking. Next thing you know, someone else may come over, and then you've met about everyone in that room, because someone that you knew that you were speaking with knew someone that you had already had a relationship with. Because with New Orleans, we're really small. It's not big. I mean, you have some type of connection with someone somewhere or somewhere you've been, but always go into the room with your head held high and your shoulders held back, and just come in the floor. Never stand on the side. Always read the daily news, watch.
Wait, why would you do that? It's depressing.
I'm talking about reading books, just when you walk in the room, you want to have all the current information that's going along in the world right now, because you never know what direction a conversation may go in.
Right.
I mean, it could be reading, knowing what your company do from top to bottom, knowing knowing what's going on, or not the shooting, the killing, the robbing, the stealing. I'm talking about knowing some book knowledge, something someone else wrote, some quotes that you can pull out and feed into someone else. You never know who may need, because you're not the only one with the story. I'm not the only one with the story. The lady on the wall probably have a deep story, feeling some type of way, but she has a smile on her face, her head's held up, and she's there in the room. And you never know how you can touch and make that person feel by the end of the day.
And I have, I took a Dale Carnegie class, and one of the best things that I learned, and just follow along. Imagine that you're in an office, on your desk is one of those gold nameplates. On top of that desk, on top of the nameplate is a pen, and there's a house, and there's a plane on top of that house, and there's a family in it. So those are so that is what you think of. So nameplate, the first thing you do is you introduce yourself and your name. Then where do you work? Where do you live? How many kids do you have? What are your hobbies? And so by the time that you're done with that, I mean, that you're having like a 15-minute conversation.
You are.
So, so that's just like a great tip that I learned, like when you go into a room and you don't know anybody, that's how you can just kind of, because you know, sometimes you talk to people and they're just kind of like, yes, no.
No.
But you can get them to give you, you know, more information, like when you're asking about, you know, those different things. Mhm.
I have a question. I just recently stepped into a job as an outside sales rep for a painting company. I'm trying to figure out, how do I get a mentor, you know, in the
In the
field?
painting company.
Mhm. I need
When you
someone-
go to the painting go to like maybe True Value, TNT,
Mhm.
some type of paint place, wherever you're going, there's cards around on the shelf.
Mhm.
Sherwin-Williams, wherever you're going, there's cards. Get in contact with maybe an interior designer. And that would be a great way for you to find a mentor, because she knows a lot, or he knows a lot about painting, or can get you in contact with one instead of whoever you're working with, who's the best painter around, and then you can try to get with them, because you're gonna have so much more in common with that person than anyone else.
Well, we joined the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in June, I think, and been doing a little bit of networking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm shy, trying to work my nerves out and stuff, practicing, and I got a lot of practicing at the fashion show. The Sips and Salad Luncheon, the Salad Luncheon. And I passed out some business cards, and I met a lady that worked for Preservation Magazine. And she called me this past week to do an ad, you know, and she sold me. I mean, you know, it's a small ad, you know, but I mean, it's you know,
It's a
a
step
magazine that, you know, the architects, the real estate developers, the constructors and stuff, you know, people that own really nice houses,
Yeah.
you know, I really enjoy. So, yeah, I got a little money back from a vacation that fell through. Yeah, because I'm looking for a commission, you know, and I haven't made any money yet.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's hard. Sales is extreme. All of us could probably benefit from some sales training, you know, and lawyers are like the worst at being salespeople, right? But here's one thing, like my thing for you, you know, work on your 1-minute elevator pitch.
mhm.
Work on it, keep on doing it and perfect. Right? Like, do you mind telling this group, like, exactly what painting services do we sell?
And everybody understands what the 1 minute or an elevator pitch is, right? That's just that time it takes from you to get to the ground floor to the top floor in an elevator. In that span of time, this should be your delivery about yourself. Not so much your personal self, but more about like your business self, if you will.
And not to
So,
put you on this.
Oh, no,
I'm so sorry.
yeah.
You know, like,
I would say, hello, my name is Deidre Sherman. I work for Tobias Painting, LLC. We've been in business for 25 years in the area. We're with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I don't know, you know. I would ask what you do. I would ask what you do, and yeah.
painting.
Painters are very hard to find.
That's right.
A lot of people don't know how to paint. And when they paint a strong, with a strong color, nobody knew how to neutralize the paint. And I don't say it. I've been telling a lot of people, because a lot of people get the rollers, because it's you know how to do it?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's my ex-husband's business.
Oh.
And my son's paid for it.
Oh, for you can say.
Look, I've done some of the work. I have done some of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
I think the posture was a big key factor that she said, because when my coworkers were when we had more, we were pretty close. And I would go to their family functions and I would be like the only one of this color. And so I bring my guy with me, he always feels out of place. He's like, Jen, we're the only white people here. I'm like, what? He's like, they're staring. I'm like, let them stare. I'm gonna have a good time.
Thank you.
These people are my people. Like, what are you talking about? I see them every day. I see them more than like, these are my people. I said, by the way, we neither one of us are white. You're Cuban and I'm Puerto Rican. You're completely here. So we just went to the youth club and he was like, people are staring at us. I'm like, let them, let's dance.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always say if someone's staring, something must be good.
Posture does a lot, because then later on, if people come and be like, oh, can I get that picture you just took?
Right.
Can you send that to me? I don't even know these people, but I'm like, sure, no problem. And then like, it'll get back to my friend that the wedding was for, and he'd be like, hey, thanks, my so-and-so said, thank you so much for sending those pictures that you sent. But it's because I didn't look intimidated. I looked like I belonged there. I was confident. Now him, on the other hand, he was eating in the corner. I just let him be. I tried to get him to come out, but he just can't come out of his shell. So I'm saying, I think the posture is like a really big deal.
It is.
Oh,
You
yeah.
always walk in as if you own the room.
Like, I'm supposed to be here.
I asked Lori to share a story that she shared with me just earlier today about.
Yeah, Victoria Tran, she's actually a past volunteer and she donated an hour of her time, probably a little bit more, to do Sort for Success during the lockdown. I don't know if anyone actually got to join it. But it was open to our clients and we did it as a small fundraiser. So she was starting her business. She started it right before the pandemic in 2019. So it was kind of fortunate that she started a closet organizing business that has taken off, of course, with the pandemic. But one of our board members happened to join that webinar to support Dress for Success and gave her her business. And she's, to this day, she actually just dropped off more donations from one of our board members' houses, just saying that she's gotten so much repeat business from that 1 hour of volunteer work she did, just because of the people who were in the room that she met. You just never know who you're gonna meet.
And I think that's an excellent point to remember, that, you know, you just can't just sit in the office, sit at home. I mean, these women are movers and shakers and on the go all the time. That's how I know each of them. And so if you're out there and you're networking, then you never know who you're gonna meet and who's gonna be that next potential client, or, you know, offer you that next big job or opportunity. So I always say, never look at, oh geez, I went to this thing and I just wasted my time, you know, because down the line, it may not happen right away, but you know, a month from now, that person may be looking you up for something, or you may be
something.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You guys have any other things you want to share?
No, any other questions?
Any questions?
I didn't catch your last name.
It's like Sean, S-H-A.
Okay.
I just wanted to say my name, I talked with Tracy, I just mentioned it to Tracy because I'm a stickler on it. The name of my company is RYCARS Construction, and it means a lot to me because it's Ryan, Caleb, Ariel, Ryan, I'm Stephanie. It's the acronym of everyone's name, and it's been 21 years now. Right, so I didn't want it to be Burks. I wanted it to be something, a brand that would go on and on and on and on. So, and I say that because people are like, what is the cars? And she said construction. So that's why I'm tying it in. So everyone would know what it means. I mean, what the name means. It's the family name. It's the acronym of everyone in our family. It's capital R, capital Y, capital C, capital A, and capital R, and capital S.
In all caps.
In all caps, because it's Ryan, the R-Y, Caleb with a C, Ariel is our daughter, Ryan is second, and I'm Stephanie. Yes, yes, and all of my kids are adults. The youngest is 26, the oldest is 34. But, you know, it's balancing your life. I was there for them in the classrooms, when the teachers called, when they needed me there, house, you know, team mom, all of that. And we've been through that, and you're going through it now, baby's taking a nap. But you're balancing and you're getting fed, getting fed both ways, you know? You came here, you have dinner, and now you can go home and do whatever she needs to do. Get done in the rest of the evening, but you just got fed today, you know? So it's like balancing your life and those things that are important to you in order to have a more fulfilling life as a woman.
And I would say for me, I always start with yes. And
if there's if there's an opportunity, like, would you, yes. And I have, that has opened so many doors for me. I mean, at work, like, hey, can you temporarily, take on this job? Yes. Other people said, no, guess what? That turned into a management position when that opened
That's
up.
dangerous in my job.
And that willingness to always be open to opportunities and change, that other people see that, and when something comes up, they think of you. Yeah. So, that's a takeaway that I would love to share.
Yeah, I think, it kind of echoes off what you just said, Tracy, which is I see every interaction as an opportunity to, be more enriched with the story of, what I'm talking to, and potentially, hopefully, impart whatever I have. Whether that's just a genuine story, and I tell this to my husband, I don't actually have very good memory of science or even the law. People invite me to trivia saying Rebecca, you're a lawyer, you should know the law. That's a lot of social. I can have one conversation with you 20 years. Yeah, maybe 20 years ago. I can remember what school you went to, how many kids you had, what were you gonna do right after. That's what matters to me. Just to hear about. It's not right. Sometimes meeting me and so yeah, every interaction, I think it's enriching. It's like a hug day.
Any questions?
That's okay. Saying how wonderful and enriching this has been, and they're so appreciative.
That's cute.
Oh, that is so
We appreciate you ladies taking time out of your busy day live to join us, and please join me in giving them.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. When I did a little video of that of you. That we made.
I do not have them on either one of us. We're bad today.
Yeah.
No.
I'll share if it's okay.
That's really good. At the time.
So I thought it was gonna be a mozzarella stick.
So we have a prize, we have a giveaway that.
Yes. So, on May 3rd, between 1 and 6, the Hispanic Chamber's having a women's symposium. And it's an amazing day. There's speakers, Amanda Shaw, if you guys are familiar, she'll be performing. She's our keynote speaker. And then we have little different breakout sessions from everything from mental health to how to overcome imposter syndrome, and different things like that. So I can pick out the different breakout rooms that you're going. Anyway, so on behalf of Cox, we have 2 tickets.
What day is
we'd
that?
like to give. It's May 3rd.
So we're pulling 2, right?
2.
Okay,
And then
so.
I'll just need the name.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna do. And so we put everyone who was on, in the Zoom virtually.
Yolanda Green.
Yolanda, you're.
And I'll send you their,
Sonia Moore.
She's also in Zoom.
Okay, awesome. I have one thing.
oh, yeah.
I have 2 tickets to View New Orleans on top of the 4 Seasons.
Right by my
You can go
locker.
up there and take a look at the whole New Orleans. The envelope is open because I had to make sure the tickets were in. And the tickets expire 1 year from now, so you have until next year to.
Wow.
Patrice. Enjoy, it's beautiful up there. Thanks.
Would you ladies be fine with joining in for a quick photo? We can do like maybe a.
Thank y'all guys so much. We'll be in touch with more information.